I've never paid for a lead. All of my leads either come through referrals from my database. A lot of it is referrals from past clients. People just kind of see what I'm doing and they know Matt does real estate. So if they like me and they trust me and they have a need, they're going to reach out to me. I'll keep calling and texting and emailing and calling until they either pick up or I find out they bought a house or they tell me to stop calling them. I don't want to miss a phone call. That could be a $20,000 commission check just because I didn't recognize the number. So I call them like that day, like within an hour. They could be talking to other agents as well. So like if I'm the first to get to them, they might work with. So I feel like speed is huge in this game. It's been to the point where I'm like, all right, I think I'm done with the real estate. I need to find something new. And then like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to corporate America. I don't want to do that.
Today on the Atlanta Agent Playbook, I'm joined with Matt Mead, sold over 115 homes, top 3% Atlanta Realtor. I'm so excited to get into it. Matt, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Well, it wasn't always selling real estate. Tell me about how things before the world before real estate. You were a CPA. You were in the finance world, right?
Yes, actually before that, I've lived many lives, but before I was actually in accounting. Years ago before that, I worked in commercial real estate for a little bit. Then moved into residential real estate, working for a builder in a customer service role. Had gotten laid off when the market crashed in 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
Went back to school, got my MBA. Couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do, and then decided to go back to school and get my CPA license. So did accounting for about 5 years, and just realized did not like it at all. Was not a fit for me. I felt like I enjoyed being around people and developing relationships, and so left accounting and sold liquor for a distributor for about 5 years, selling at package stores. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the relationship building. Enjoyed the sales aspect. And I realized it's kind of over corporate America, and I wanted to kind of build my own business. That's when I got my license.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a similar story, man. Exiting corporate America, running away from the 9 to 5, trying to be your own boss, right?
Not for me. I just, I feel like corporate America, they're always looking to cut costs, and it always comes at the expense of the employees, and just always had kind of not the best managers, and was just kind of tired of the 9 to 5 grind. And I know that running a real estate business it's definitely a grind in and of itself, but you have more control of your schedule, and you can pick and choose which clients you work with and don't work with. And so, and you're in control of your destiny, you can earn a lot more income, based on your efforts. And so I kind of wanted to be in control of my income.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What did the world of accounting teach you about real estate, or what kind of skills have you brought over?
So I was in audit, so I developed a really high sense of attention to detail. So I feel like it translated into real estate in that I study the contracts. I know what's in them. Whenever I send an offer, I double and triple check it, because that's what they taught us in audit. When I get offers, I'm reviewing everything, making sure there's nothing I'm missing before I send over to my client. So it's just taught me to have a really high attention to detail and really look at all every aspect of the contract.
So you're my favorite kind of agent. You're an agent that's going to send an offer over. Everything's like perfect. You've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's.
You have no idea how many listings I have where, and I'm sure you get this, like you get an offer and it's like missing signatures, it's missing exhibits.
Yeah.
The exhibits are out of order. There's no pre-approval letter, and you're just like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like, as a professional, like we have to call them and say, hey, like, and that they're trying, like they're probably new where they haven't been trained. So it's like, hey, like you're missing exhibit A and G and B. So can you please resend that? And I've had to walk agents through offers, like how to fill them out. And like, it's our job to get the house sold, whatever side we're on. And so if they're not fully trained, they don't know what they're doing. It's our job to be kind and respectful and walk them through that. Because at one point I was new and you were new. And so I'm sure we both made mistakes and stuff. And so it's like, in this industry, there's a lot of not nice agents. And so I try to be kind when I see that someone's struggling. So that's how I approach that.
It's a partnership at the end of the day, like you and the other agent on the other side. So whatever it takes to get it done. I think a lot of the time we've heard this, 80% of new agents fail within the first, 2 or 3 years or something crazy like that. I think it's because the industry just doesn't set us up for success, right? Coming out of that real estate exam, do you know how to navigate the GAR forms? No. Like, you either rely on training your broker or just sitting down and like reading through it. So.
Right. I was lucky in the sense that at my office and my broker, there's a lot of top producing agents, and I made it a point to make friends with all of them. And so, if I ever had questions, I always felt comfortable calling different agents to get help with things. And so the first few contracts, I really had them kind of hold my hand, and that helped me a lot. Some other brokers, I don't know if their new agents are getting that type of guidance, or they have the ability to call other seasoned agents. But for sure, it's churn and burn. I think people, they get so excited when they get their license, and then they make calls for a few weeks, and then they run out of people to call, and then they're like, what do I do now? And so, I think if you have a roadmap of what to do, and it's like if you keep doing the activities, eventually they're going to hit. But right when you feel like you're ready to quit, if you just keep pushing, that's when like that fresh lead comes in, and you're rewarded for your efforts. But I think people, they either run out of money, or they get frustrated, and they just move on, and they find something else to do.
Yeah. I want to do something a little bit different on this show. Usually we end with our signature question about you adding a play to the Atlanta Agent Playbook. But this time around, I kind of want to bring that forward because I think these plays have really contributed to your success and what you've accomplished today. You've got a couple plays you want to contribute today. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah. Was it?
The first one was follow up.
And what was the second one?
The second one, speed the lead.
That's right. Yeah. So I feel like the money is definitely in the follow up, and I'm super hungry. And so if I connect with a lead, and at an open house, or someone sends me a referral, I'll keep calling and texting and emailing and calling until they either pick up, or I find out they bought a house, or they tell me to stop calling them. But I feel like a lot of agents, like they'll make a phone call, or they'll call that lead 2 or 3 times, and if they don't have any response, they move on. But sometimes like they're just not ready in that moment, or they need another 3, 4, 5 months before they're ready to do something. So I want to keep calling until they eventually pick up and tell me they're ready, or they tell me they're not looking to work with me. But I think the persistence shows people you're hungry, and like people are like, God, if this guy's been calling me for 9 months, he'll do a great job for us when we're ready to actually do a transaction together. So I think a lot of agents, the newer agents especially, they just quit calling people after a couple times, just because they get frustrated, or they feel like they're annoying somebody. I'm like, no, like my next paycheck depends on me meeting people and doing transactions together. So if I have to call you for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, I'll do it if that's what it takes,
And how do you, let's break that down, your follow-up system. How do you keep track of everyone that you've got to call? How often? Do you use any specific software to do so?
I'm very old school. I have a very archaic system. I have an Excel spreadsheet, kind of dating back to my accounting days. But I have like 20 different tabs, but I have a tab with all of my, it's like my database. I mean, do you have a database you kind of keep track of?
We use Follow Up Boss in our team, and that's been great to kind of just, organize everything and have visibility in everything.
Okay. So I have a spreadsheet, and at the bottom of my spreadsheet is kind of what I would call my hottest leads. Those are people that are looking to do something right away. And so every day I open up my spreadsheet, I start from the bottom, and I'm like, all right, who do I need to call today? And so whenever I have a conversation, I have a separate tab where I'll write notes on what we discussed. And then, so if I call that person a week later, I'll filter for just their name, and I'll say, okay, I've talked to this guy or this woman 5 times, and on these dates, what do we talk about? So when I call them next, I'll know what to reference to the previous notes. And so I kind of just go up the list every day.
Yeah.
And just keep really calling people.
So you don't really need anything fancy. It's just
but
it's the list, right?
But it's very archaic. It's got a lot of different highlights and colors, and different colors represent like a hot lead and not so hot lead. And so I'll kind of set reminders on my phone to call people at certain dates and whatnot. So if people's like, if I call you today and you're like, Matt, call me in a month, I'll set a reminder in my phone to call you that in a month and stuff. And so I very rarely do leads slip through the cracks. It's if I lose lead, it's because I wasn't doing, I just wasn't doing my job, or I didn't provide enough value to where they felt compelled to want to work with me.
So let's talk about your second play, speed the lead. Are you paying for leads? How are your leads coming in? Does your broker provide leads?
I pay for no leads.
Okay.
I've never wanted to be dependent on a lead source. I feel like if you're dependent on a paid lead source, when that lead source dries up, your business dries up. And so I'm proud to say I've never paid for a lead. All of my leads either come through referrals from my sphere, my database. From time to time, I'll get agent to agent referrals. A lot of it is referrals from past clients. I think a lot of my business comes from my social media. I think people just kind of see what I'm doing and like they know Matt does real estate. So if they like me and they trust me and they have a need, they're going to reach out to me. Not always. I've had multiple friends that haven't used me and the way I look at it is like they either didn't see the value or they had a relationship with somebody else or they didn't feel comfortable working with me, and I don't get offended at all.
So what do you think is the number one mistake that agents do when, you receive a lead? Is it just like
you've got to call right away? Like and that's the thing also, like I pick up all my phone calls, even if I don't recognize if my phone says spam, I don't pick it up. But like if I get a call from a different area code, I pick it up because it could be someone from California calling me that they found me on YouTube or Instagram, or they found my website, and like and a lot of people, I feel like they're just calling agents. Like if you don't pick up, they're calling the next guy. And if that guy picks up, then they're going to work with that person. So to me, I don't want to miss a phone call. That could be a $20,000 commission check just because I didn't recognize the number. So, and like if someone refers someone to me, I call them like that day, like within an hour, because they could be they could be talking to other agents as well. So like if I'm the first to get to them, they might work with. So I feel like speed is huge in this game.
Wow, interesting. So you pick up every single phone call. How many spam?
Unless it says spam, I send a voicemail. And to me, I feel like if someone's calling me about something real estate related, they're probably going to leave me a voicemail. So and also like I have the Forewarn app, and so if I miss a call, I'll go right into Forewarn. I'll punch the number, and if there's no name associated, I know it's a spam call. But like if I miss if I miss a call, or I'm like, this is probably spammy, and I send a voicemail, and I look up and I'm like, oh, this is actually someone. This says, Joe Smith from Kentucky. I'll call him back like right away, because I'm like, this could be someone that has a need, and I I'm gonna call them back.
Yeah, love the Forewarn app. That's been like a game changer for us in the past year, and it's provided by the FMLS, which most agents don't even know about.
It's free, and I mean I've used it for like every once in a while I'll list a rental property for a landlord, and like you get all kinds of random people calling me. So I'll pull up Forewarn and I'm like, okay, this guy's got like 19 convictions. Like probably don't want to meet this guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe if I'm thinking about it, I might bring a colleague with me in case they have bad intentions. So it's I think a very useful app.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your client experience. I know that's something that sets you apart. And one thing you mentioned earlier was, taking the stress out of real estate. How do you do that for your clients?
Multiple ways. Number one, I feel like communication is super key. So, people probably tell you I probably over communicate, but I'm constantly trying to send reminders, updates of what's coming ahead. It's very overwhelming for some people. And so I'm always thinking, okay, like what question could they be thinking that they might be afraid to ask me or feel like they're bothering me? So I'm like, okay, like closing is in a week. They're probably thinking like, what do we need to do? So I'm like, okay, so I'll send reminders like, hey, and as we get closer to closing, we're gonna have to send your wire. Like let's hop on a call and talk about safely sending your wire. You're gonna need to bring your driver's license. Here's the address for the closing. So I'm always sending updates to people so that they're never in the dark. They know what's going on. And honestly, I just try and surprise and delight, like any way that I can, go above and beyond, sending lots of information. Like if someone wants to see a property, I'll send them a disclosure and say, hey, here's a disclosure. If you have any questions, let me know. I try to be as available as possible. I never want to be the reason that someone loses out on a house because I wasn't available. So like if someone calls me on the, hey Matt, can I see a house at 2:00? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah.
But I know someone who can show it to you. I'll pay $50 and get you in the house today if it's something you want to do today. So again, that's kind of speed. And I feel like if you're late and you're not getting people in houses quickly enough, they might lose out on a house. And I don't want to be the reason someone loses out on their dream house.
Yeah, no, that's certainly like sets you apart. because a lot of agents, don't have that kind of urgency. They're not thinking about, okay, let me think 3 steps ahead and be proactive about what I can provide. All right, they're going to ask about the condition. Let me give them the seller's disclosure. Let me be like 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, and same thing like when I'm touring a house with a buyer, I've developed the knowledge where I know like what things cost, and so as we're walking the house, I'm okay. Like here's a couple of things to think about. If you guys are going to buy this house, this roof is 25 years old. You're gonna have to probably replace it in a couple of years. You need to budget 10,000 for a new roof. All the siding is rotting. This is going to be probably 15 grand. So I'm planting seeds like, hey, if you're going to think about this house, I want you to have the money set aside for these big expenses because they're coming due soon. I never want someone to buy a house and be like, God, our agent didn't tell us that the HVAC literally was about to die.
Yeah.
It needs a new roof. It needs new siding. It needs this. So like, I'm always pointing out things to them. Like, think about things that you're going to have to pay for in the next 3 to 5 years. Do you have the money set aside? If you don't, this is probably not the right house for you. Like, I don't ever want someone to look back and be like, why didn't our agent tell us that there was $25,000 of repairs coming up that we don't have the money for this? We have to sell the house now,
Yeah, no, 100%. I think being that advisor, consultant, and just, obviously you're there to sell the house, but I think the house needs to sell itself. And there's a lot of things that clients they're not able to really see.
Yeah.
They're looking at, oh, wow, this is an amazing neighborhood and this is a great kitchen, but they're not thinking about like the systems, the roof, et cetera. So just to point that out, be ahead of, the inspection and ultimately like supporting them in the best way that you can.
For sure. And I think in this business, if you take care of people, they'll remember that. And I think some agents can be a little short-sighted in that they just want to close a deal and get their check and move on. And if you take care of people and you're like, hey, I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't buy this house if I were you.
Yeah.
I just don't feel comfortable with it. It's your choice ultimately, but like as your agent, I don't feel great about some of the things that I'm seeing on this inspection report. I think people remember that kind of stuff, and they'll always think of you whenever there's a need, whether it's them or a friend of theirs. But if you're just trying to get your commission check and move on, that's to me is the wrong way to be doing this business.
Let's switch gears to social media. I was literally laughing this morning, just like looking at a lot of your funny videos on TikTok, on Instagram. A lot of them provide a lot of value too, but you do an exceptional job on there. Tell me about your social media strategy.
I used to be a lot more active. I haven't been as active this year as in past years, but I like to laugh, and I feel like I like to be lighthearted and have fun, and so I want to attract clients like that. So I used to do a better job of making kind of funny videos back in the day. I haven't done as much recently, but I just want people to come to my page and know who I am.
Yeah.
And so I try to be authentic, even if it's goofy in some ways. Like, I want people to know who I am and what it's like to work with me. And so I just try to put out authentic content that is a true representation of me. And I want them to know that, like, hey, I'm going to be fun to work with, and we're going to laugh together. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And that's kind of what I want to portray.
Why do you think you've slowed down a little bit on the social media?
I'm kind of tired, just like physically.
Yeah.
I've got 2 young kids. They're about to be 5 and 2, and it's a lot to manage. Time with your family, to be present with your children and your wife, and also run a real estate business. And so, I don't know. I feel like this year I've been trying to focus a little bit less on my business, to be honest with you, and trying to focus more on spending time with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us are feeling the same way. I personally go in waves like, all right, this week I'm posting a video a day, and then the next week I don't post anything.
Yeah.
So
I go in spurts where if I have some free time, I'm like, all right, like I need to make some videos. I'm going to try and make a video about this. Or if I see something funny and I get some inspiration, I'll be like, all right, how can I recreate this video myself?
Well, tell me about that. Like, work-life balance. I think a lot of us struggle with that. We exit the corporate world. We're definitely not looking back, but it's like that challenge of like, how do I set boundaries with my clients? How do I make sure I don't overwork myself, and still am present for a growing family? Tell me about some of that.
I was really bad about setting boundaries when I was brand new. I mean, if a client wanted to see a house on a Sunday at 10 a.m., I'd skip my church service. I mean, I always wanted to be available, and I realized, like, my doctor doesn't take phone calls at 9 p.m. Like you can't call your CPA at 10 o'clock at night with a question. So like, why am I allowing clients to do that to me? And so I'm like, okay, like I set my phone to do not disturb at 7 o'clock. And if it's something like, if I'm like, it's the last day of due diligence, so we have something we need to negotiate, like I'll be available. But if it's like, hey Matt, I saw this house in Zillow, can we go see it? I'm not going to respond until the next day. Cause like, I feel like that's my time with my family and I need to honor that. So I've tried to set boundaries in the sense that like, I shouldn't be answering emails and phone calls and text messages unless it's something super pressing or important. Like after 7 o'clock, that's my time with my wife and my kids. And really, honestly, about 5 o'clock, that's really kind of when I shut things down because that's when my kids get home. And so from 5 to 8 is about like our playtime, our dinner time, bath time, bedtime. And so I try to set my phone aside, even though I don't always do that. But I try to set my phone off to the side and just be present with them.
Yeah. Have you thought about potentially scaling your business so that you're, not necessarily having to spend so much time, or what's the future hold for you?
I used to do a ton of open houses. I do very few of them now, unless it's like an open house near like where I live or somewhere where I might want to pick up some new potential buyer clients. Yeah. I usually will have other agents in my office host them for me as long as the sellers are okay with it. I really don't work Sundays anymore. I feel like Sunday is like my one day I need to take work off, and that's like church and like my Sabbath day. Saturdays usually by appointment only. So if I'm not showing properties, we need to be scheduling this a couple days in advance. But I definitely have gotten burned out several times. And it's been to the point where I'm like, all right, like I think I'm done with the real estate. I need to find something new. And then like I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go back to corporate America. I don't want to do that. And so it's like you just have to push through. Your mind plays tricks on it. The enemy can get in your head and start to poison your mind with negative thoughts. And you have to pull yourself out of it and like, all right, let me think about this. Like I love selling real estate. I love all of the friendships and relationships I've been able to develop. I enjoy helping people. Yes, I'm going through a tough season, but that's not a reason to just like quit all of a sudden. So you just have to get yourself out of the funk sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of agents out there are struggling right now. You know, we're technically in a down market. Atlanta's been protected a little bit, but numbers are down. A lot of agents are quitting. What would you say to them? What are some things you do every day to keep your mindset strong?
I feel like in these kinds of markets, this is when you actually start to grab market share. When people are leaving the business, this is when there's opportunities for new business to be had. So, well, I know it's tough for a lot of agents. If you keep pushing, it's going to get better. I don't know when. I mean, I feel like we've been in this recessionary bear market for the last 2-3 years now.
A few years now.
Yeah, and we keep being told like rates are going to go down. It's going to get better. But I think you just have to have the belief in yourself and keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're making your phone calls and you're making real estate content and you're active and you're on social media, people are going to see what you're doing and hopefully reach out if they have a real estate need.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it's also like your genuine care that you have for your clients. It's like that satisfaction, that gratitude keeps you going, I'm sure, and keeps me going. Like
absolutely. I just had a closing on Monday, and like my clients were singing my praises, and it's like, this is why I keep doing what I'm doing. Like people, they love working with me. They know that I'm going to take care of them, and it's a great feeling to know that like people love their experience with you, and you're doing quality work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Matt, before we kind of wrap up, anything else you want to tell our audience, agents out there, to inspire them?
It's hard right now, and this is when people are going to quit, and this is when they want to quit. But I feel like this is where you've got to dig deep and keep pushing, and just have the faith that things are going to get better. And people need us out there. Like they need quality agents. Like we're talking about earlier. There's a lot of agents that are not great out there, and so I almost feel guilty if like people I know are using those kinds of agents because they're getting a really terrible experience, and like, they could be losing out on some great houses because their agents are writing terrible offers. And so like I don't want that to happen to people. So I feel like I'm almost doing a disservice by not helping more people. So
absolutely,
keep doing great work out there and helping people, and good things will come.
Well, thank you so much for
sure.
being on the show, for opening up your book of business and your heart to us. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.